What's something you thought everyone did until you found out it's just you? I regularly take showers in complete darkness. I told my friends about it and they looked at me like I just confessed to knitting socks for ghosts. I was convinced other people love doing it too. The weird part, in literally any other situation, I'm afraid of the dark. I cry when I, drop the chocolate submarines. Thought that was universal until I moved in with a roommate at college. One day, I walked out of the bathroom with my face all blotchy from crying, as usual. She asked if I was okay, all worried. I calmly said, "Oh, no big deal. I just had a bathroom moment." Explains everything. Apparently, it didn't explain everything. And no, it's not painful. My nervous system just has this weird glitch where the deed makes tears come out. On Easter, my family has water gun bags. I thought this was how everyone celebrated Easter, but turns out, nope, just us. It all started when mom would wake my older siblings by squirting them with a water gun, then hand them their Easter baskets. Eventually, they started saving up to buy their own super soakers. Fast forward 20 years, and our family still brings out the big splash cannons every Easter. To me, that's the most traditional Easter ever. Not my story, but it fits here. My friend once said bananas, or maybe it was some other fruit, can't remember, tasted spicy to her. Turns out, she's just allergic. My ex thought apples made everyone's face itch. He was shocked when I told him, "Pretty sure that's just you, buddy, allergies." I used to think everyone could put sunscreen on their own back. Turns out I have hypermobile joints. When I saw in movies how husbands in fancy bedrooms zipped up their wives' dresses, I thought it was some kind of flirty game. So when I grow up and coworkers or random women ask me to zip their dresses, it felt way too intimate to me. Apparently not everyone can reach their own back. I've never had that problem. I can zip myself up and lotion my own back just fine. I daydream so hard that sometimes I feel like I've completely left my body, like my mind just drifts away. Same. I'll replay memories in my head so much that I start replacing them with made-up versions. After that, I can barely tell which parts are real and which are my imagination. It's super frustrating. I know my license plate number by heart. Apparently that's rare. One time I was in a parking lot where you have to enter your plate to pay, and most people in line didn't know theirs. They had to run back to check. A friend offered to go look at mine, but I said, "No, I've got it memorized." She was weirdly impressed. I even polled my friends. Not a single one knew their own number. When I was a kid, I had to know my parents' plate numbers so I'd know which car to get into when they picked me up. Most cars in our area look the same. I can memorize song lyrics really easily. For example, I learned all the words to a 12-minute comedy song by Weird Al Yankovic. Now my brain is full of useless numbers and songs, so there's no space left for things like names or studying. I put my hand over my dry cereal before pouring milk so it doesn't float up and make the milk spill over. I thought this was normal until I did it at a sleepover and my friend looked at me like I'd invented a cure for homework. Wait, you pour the milk onto your hand? Not exactly. You cover about 3/4 of the bowl with your palm and pour the milk through the gap between your thumb and index finger. That way the cereal doesn't splash out. I can go 5 to 7 days without making a nature deposit. It happens to me regularly. Edit. Did not expect this reaction. How do you people even have time for life if you're doing number 2 7 times a week? That's really unhealthy, man. You need plants in your diet. Leafy greens, root veggies, beans, fruits, not bananas. 2 weeks on a plant-based diet and you'll be pooping like clockwork. After using the bathroom, I wiped standing up. I thought everyone did this until I talked to my girlfriend. She said she wipes while sitting. There was even a huge Reddit debate about this once. Personally, I'm ambidextrous about it. I start sitting, then stand to finish the job thoroughly. I imagine fake interviews where I'm the famous guest. It's basically pure narcissism in roleplay form. I didn't know other people can actually see images in their head. I thought picture it in your mind was just a figure of speech. Turns out, no, my brain just doesn't do that. I thought everyone liked the smell of a just turned on AC unit. So far, I haven't met a single other person who agrees. I constantly draw things for no reason. Apparently that's just a my family thing. We even have a special word for it, but no one outside our family understands what it means. Okay, turns out I'm not alone. For those asking, the word we use is a Frenchish version of clumsiness, but in a weird form, like I had a clumsiness. Also, here's a list of possible reasons people gave me: brain or spinal tumor, ADHD, narcolepsy, autism. I have the rarest form of synesthesia, lexical gustatory. I literally taste words, and the same word can taste different depending on the accent. For example, the word mate with an American accent tastes like bark, but with an Australian accent, it tastes like dirt. I didn't wear underwear until I was 10. I keep rhythm to songs using my teeth. Yeah, I know, I'm weird. When I ride in a car and look out the window, I imagine a guy running along the side of the road, jumping over every obstacle he passes. I told my friends, well, everybody does that, right? They looked at me like I just told them I collect ghost toenails. I eat bread crusts. They're fine. It's just bread. But none of my friends eat them. They just throw them away. When my daughter was little, she refused to eat the end pieces, calling them gross. So when I made her a sandwich, I started flipping the crust inward. She never noticed. From ages 6 to 11, don't laugh, I slept with 3 pillows, one between my knees, one to hug, and one under my head. Somehow, by morning, all 3 were always on the floor. I told my friends in kindergarten about it. They thought I was super weird. I can give myself goosebumps just by tensing my neck and shoulders. I thought everyone could do it, so the phrase "that gave me goosebumps" always sounded silly until I realized I might be the only one. I only eat the green part of watermelon. The red part? Too sweet. The bitter green rind? Perfect. When someone says a word I'm not totally familiar with, I try to spell it out in my head, then later check if I was right. I sort colorful candies by color, line them up from least favorite to most favorite, then eat one of each color in ascending order, finishing with my favorite. I always count stairs and sidewalk tiles and make sure the total adds up to 18. If there are 9 steps, I pretend there are double, counting each step as 2. If it doesn't equal 18, it bothers me. I make beats with my teeth, adding clicks and pops with my jaw. From the outside, I probably look like a malfunctioning puppet, just opening and closing my mouth with no explanation. Sometimes I get a sudden thought, wow, this is real life. This isn't a game, I'm actually doing this. I crack every joint in my body that probably shouldn't be cracked. Wrists, knees, ankles, toes, knuckles, neck, you name it. In my family, golden birthdays were a huge deal. A golden birthday is when you turn the same age as the day of your birth. For example, I was born on the 11th, so my golden birthday was when I turned 11. We get a big present on that day, and everyone looked forward to it. I've passed the tradition to my kids, but my wife, her relatives, and everyone else I've told had never heard of it. I add up the digits in a license plate number. If the sum is even, great. If it's odd, nope, it annoys me. At the airport baggage carousel, I stand back so other people can easily grab their bags. I draw the number 5 in one stroke, from the bottom up. I thought everyone did that, until my wife, who's a primary school teacher, saw me do it and looked horrified. I drink the milk from the bowl after finishing the cereal. Didn't know that was weird until I did it at a friend's house in senior year. Still do it. I just think pouring milk down the sink is silly. I make up complicated rules for how I have to step on sidewalk tiles. Sometimes people ask why I'm walking so weird. When I was a kid, I always started walking with my right foot and had to finish on my left. The total number of steps had to be even. I can't stand it when the volume level is set to an odd number. When I do something with the right side of my body, I have to repeat it with the left to feel balanced. I used to replace words with their numerical values in my head, add them up and reduce them to a single digit. For example, A1 plus S19 equals 20, then 2 plus 0 equals 2. I always keep my bedroom door shut now. I used to leave it open during the day so my cats could nap on the bed and the room could air out, but then came Stretch the cat. First of all, Stretch is not the brightest crayon in the box. He overeats and then ejects the extras, so he had to be fed separately from the others. One day, I walked into my room without looking, sat on the bed, and felt something slimy under me. Yep, I had sat directly on a fresh pile of cat upchuck. Later, I stepped barefoot into another pile on the carpet. That was the final straw. From then on, all cats were banned from my bedroom. I can't exactly explain to them, this is why you've lost your bedroom privileges, so I just started keeping the door closed. A couple of weeks ago, I left it open again while reading in bed, so I could watch who came in. Suddenly, I heard Stretch revving up his vomit blaster. For the first time in a year, he was in my room, and the very first thing he did was try to redecorate my carpet. Thankfully, I jumped up, grabbed him, and carried him out so he could do it on the tile, but I'm still not convinced he understood the lesson. Big thanks for reading. In the comments, tell us what's something you thought everyone did, but it turns out it's just you.